It slices a continent in half, a 51-mile channel connecting the worlds to great oceans. We know the Panama Canal as a marvel of engineering, a monument to human ambition. But its concrete and steel hide a darker story, one of political scheming. Staggering human loss and secrets buried for a century. This is the history of the Panama Canal they never wanted you to know. For over a century, the Panama Canal has been a linchpin of global trade, a shortcut saving ships thousands of miles on treacherous journeys. Its genius lies in a system of massive locks that act like a water elevator, lifting colossal vessels 85 feet up and over the mountains of Panama. To do this, engineers dammed a river, creating Gatun Lake, then the largest man-made lake on Earth. The entire system is powered by gravity, a seamless dance of water and steel that appears effortless. It is, by all accounts, a triumph. But this polished image of progress hides the brutal truth of its creation. France was the first country to try and tame Panama, and the attempt was a complete disaster. The project was led by Ferdinand de Lesseps. Fresh off his success with the Suez Canal, but he was disastrously out of his league. He fatally underestimated Panama's unforgiving jungle, its torrential rains, and worst of all, its invisible killers. Disease, malaria, and yellow fever tore through the labor camps. The hospitals were overwhelmed. After 9 years of struggle, the French company went bankrupt. The human cost was unbelievable. An estimated 20,000 workers died, their bodies buried in a failed dream. Panama had become a meat grinder, a place where ambition went to die. Where the French saw failure, U.S. President Theodore Roosevelt saw opportunity. America desperately wanted the canal for trade and military power. Just one problem? Panama was a province of Colombia, which refused to sign the American treaty. So Roosevelt's administration did something stunning. They resorted to political sabotage. The U.S. secretly funded a Panamanian separatist movement. When the revolution began on November 3, 1903, American warships were conveniently positioned to block Colombian troops from responding. Just 3 days later, the U.S. recognized Panama as an independent nation. In return, the new government gave the U.S. total control over a 10-mile-wide canal zone, forever. It was a deal that would fuel Panamanian anger for a century. With the land secured, the Americans got to work, and they would succeed, but at a horrifying cost. Another 5,600 workers died during the American phase. The deadliest work was in the Culebra Cut, a 9-mile trench blasted through the mountains. Armed with little more than dynamite and steam shovels, workers faced constant, unpredictable landslides that buried men and machines in an instant. The workforce was also brutally segregated. White American workers were on the gold roll, receiving high pay, good housing, and decent food. But the vast majority of laborers, it's mostly black men from Caribbean islands like Barbados and Jamaica, were on the silver roll. They did the most dangerous jobs for a fraction of the pay and suffered the most casualties. Their stories and the stories of the West Indian women who built communities to support them were almost completely erased from America's triumphant narrative. These hidden histories are a crucial part of our shared past. If you believe these stories deserve to be heard, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. It was also about incredible innovation. The Americans realized the real enemy wasn't the mountain, it was the mosquito. A massive public health campaign led by Colonel William Gorgas set out to eradicate yellow fever and malaria. His teams drained swamps, fumigated homes, and installed window screens. It was a revolutionary medical strategy that made the work possible. Paired with superior engineering, allowed them to conquer what the French could not. In 1913, the final barrier was blown in a massive explosion, and at last the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans were one. The Panama Canal opened in 1914, hailed as a masterpiece of American ingenuity. But its legacy is tangled in the secrets of its creation. It's a marvel built on a political lie. A waterway carved by a segregated workforce, and a monument standing on the graves of over 25,000 souls. For decades, Panamanians in the canal zone were displaced, their towns wiped off the map to create a sanitized American corridor. In a final symbolic twist, the original film of the first ship crossing the canal was lost in a fire, fitting in for a history far more costly than we were ever told. The canal connected the world, but it did so at a price we are only now beginning to understand.